So I got this really nice, rich, green cotton canvas fabric that I want to use to make this raincoat, but, well, cotton canvas isn't exactly waterproof, so I'm going to try a technique known as waxed canvas or waxed cloth or tin cloth. There's variations of it. But Professor Korn, can you give us a quick lesson on what exactly that is? Glad you asked. Early sailors, they noticed that when their sails were wet, the vessels were more efficient, but unfortunately it also weighed them down. So what they started doing was oiling them up with fish oil and grease, and well, not only in dry weather did it make them go faster, when it rained it also kept them lighter. Now, as these sails got pooched, they'd cut them up and turn them into capes. Fast forward to the 1920s, and these three companies, they decided to join up and refine the technique and started using wax. Hence, waxed cotton. Thank you for that lesson, Professor. Now what I'm doing here is sewing down some flaps and putting in some seams because I want to simulate what it's like waxing the actual jacket rather than just some flat, perfect fabric. I'm going to be using two different types of wax, this yellow stuff, which is beeswax, and then grading this down so that way it melts quicker. Woo! Watch the old fingy fings. And then roughly an equal amount of paraffin wax, or more commonly known as just your standard candle wax. And then, using the good old-fashioned double boil technique, set that right on top there, and then over slow heat, just let this melt. Coming along nicely, almost melted. I go ahead and paint on an even coat of this wax onto this first sample here. Make sure to really get it in all the seams and cracks and crevices. And then take this thing and put it in a pillowcase. Now, I don't have buttons, so I'm going to sew it shut here real quick. Throw this in the dryer. Put it on high heat and let it go. See what happens. So now the reason for the pillowcase is so that way I don't ruin the dryer, and the high heat is so that that wax soaks into the fibers of the fabric. But now I'm going to do a variation on that one, and I'm going to add in turpentine and linseed oil, and what that's supposed to do is give it just a softer, more malleable finish. About 4 parts wax. See how, oh, that's drying mighty quick. This might not be the best way of doing this. Yeah, I didn't think that through. Let's try that again. What I've done is I've left in 4 parts of the beeswax, 1 part linseed oil. All right, come on. Come on. Look, I realize this is a chemical, but let me have at it. These edges here. 1 part turpentine. Get that in there. All right, well, that certainly does smell chemically. Paint this one on as well. And I have to open my windows and get this fan going because that turpentine smell is rather strong. So a little bit of white noise, but now, because there's oils in here, I don't actually want to put it in the dryer. It could set fire, you know, not a good thing. So I'm using this hair dryer and letting that soak in. Seems to be working all right. This one is finished drying, so take it out. All right, and so now, just gotta give them both a few days to really cure. Starting off with the one in the dryer first, and it has a matte, velvety finish to it. The wax has put an ever so slight texture on the fibers, which I quite like. It looks woodsy, for lack of a better term. The one with the oil, it has a noticeably smoother finish to it. However, it is also more inconsistent. It has these darker areas and then these lighter areas closer to where the fabric is folded. It's even more noticeable in the back of the fabric. Adding the wax has certainly darkened it in comparison to the original. They're both still malleable, less so in the opposite direction of the seams, but that's because, well, the seams are now full of wax. The one with the oil in it, it definitely has considerably more malleability in it, but of course, both of them are less malleable than the original fabric itself. Of the two, I really do like the finish of the one that went in the dryer the most. The other one with the oil, it kind of just has that look of a pair of joggers that have been sat in for way too much, and they get that shininess in the back, and it's looking all nasty like, you know what I mean? That weird looking patina. Yeah, no. A lot like how jeans kind of get those lines by your knees and around your hips and stuff from wearing them with time. This fabric as well, over time, will develop the creases around the arm folds and things, creating a unique, interesting sort of pattern to it. And the best part is I can just keep reapplying this technique as time goes by to enhance its water resistibility. But now, the most important test of all, which is this actually water resistant? So I'm going to place these on top of bowls, make a little hollowed out area in the middle there. And then, okay, interesting. Same with the other one. All right, and so I'm going to let them sit here for a little while and let's see what happens. It's been a couple minutes and this one with the oil has already completely soaked through. This one seems to still have the water sitting on, but if I look in there, I can see it is slowly dripping in. All right, let's grab this one. This one's more resistant, but not resistant enough. Dry this out and give it a second coat. It's been another day, and with this extra coat, it has definitely gotten even stiffer. I did also look at it through the light, and I can see little pinholes in it, so I'm giving up on the idea of it being waterproof, but maybe just a little bit more water resistant. Pour in some water one more time. And then let's see how long this lasts. 5 minutes and, okay, there's a drop there. So it's starting now to drip through a little bit. Yeah, there we go, you see that? This here is where I poured the water and there's a little bit of a wet spot there. However, turning it over to the other side, it's actually completely dry, except for the tiny little area where the water came through, so color me impressed. So this second layer of wax has definitely made it more water resistant. Not completely waterproof as I had anticipated, but then again, I'm not gonna be having a pool of water literally sitting on me when I'm out and about. I want this mainly for the city, and so I think overall this technique is gonna work.